What happens when a promoter texts you, "I'm working on this event and we'd love to have a guitar player from the district play this beautiful and legendary status song. I thought of you. What do you think?" And at the same time that I'm really excited to do it and even think to myself, I have the perfect guitar for it that I had made for these specific scenarios and you wouldn't even imagine, but I love the song and I've been wanting to cover it for years. There's only one problem. I look at my schedule and calendar, and between work and all sorts of other projects, I only have a maximum of 10 days to work on it. Crazy, right? Perhaps. This is what this documentary is all about. This is an obvious example of what I like to call the autopilot syndrome. Nothing very crazy here. This might be the only time I have to practice.
I left my backpack at home.
My computer just can't handle it. You really can't tell I'm sick. So update, it sucks ass. It sounds really, really bad. Gonna have to figure out another solution. These past couple of days have just been quite chaotic. I finished yesterday's vlog at like 5 a.m. just being like super tired and not being able to focus on anything anymore. I'm still not completely done on the arrangement, but I want to finish it today, which would be a great idea if it wasn't already like 10:30 p.m. at this point. I went to sleep so late yesterday that I kind of just wanted to sleep in a little bit, but even then I had some students around 11, so I didn't really sleep much. I took a little bit of a nap around lunchtime, and then from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. I went to the local school where I teach at and was just teaching and stuck there until like 8:30 p.m. And when I got home, I couldn't exactly come to just work on this straight away because I found this like endangered beetle, and I care about conservationism and I love wildlife, so I just kind of wanted to help the little fella, which alongside cooking dinner and working on some other professional stuff, it made it so that I only got to come back to the arrangement now at 10:30 p.m. In a perfect world scenario, I would show you what I did yesterday that I ended up not showing you guys, but at this point I kind of feel like it's better if I just grind at it for a couple more hours and then just show everything to you once I'm actually done, because at this point we're at the end of the arrangement. I just need to figure out some extra parts and figure out what some of the instruments are going to be doing, and while I already have the like more mystical, fairy tale-ish, waltzy vibe going on, it doesn't yet sound exactly as I'd like it to, but I think I have some ideas on how to correct that, and I'm not gonna lie, I am kind of in the nick of time, because even if I do end up finishing the whole thing today and do some just like basic mixing in order to play it on Saturday, I'll only have like a couple of hours tomorrow to really practice it on guitar. And while I don't think it's going to be like the biggest deal, because I kind of know what I need to play and I am kind of comfortable with the arrangement I did, I'm not going to not tell you that I kind of feel a little bit uneasy about all of this. But yeah, in some ways, I guess enough update for now. Let me just go and figure it out and I'll come back to you guys later. Alright everyone, so it's around 4 a.m. and I'm pretty much done with this. Even though I was pretty close to the end in the first place, it actually took me a while to do this because I was just so tired that I had to like work a little bit, do a little bit of a break, work another bit, and then do a little bit of a break. The session is a little bit different than last time because I added another track of strings just to do the melodies and another track of woodwinds just to do the melodies as well. They're mostly the same, but they kind of harmonize with each other here and there. We're actually making use of like the more shorter staccato-ish horn/brass section, and we're using both synth at the same time. Less percussion because we're doing the little waltzy section. If we start with the percussion itself, the same good old Easter Island percussion pack that we were doing before, just setting in the downbeat. Along with it, in the part where there are chord changes, we have the gongs and cymbals. If we keep up with the more rhythmical stuff, I have this synth just doing in octaves these little like triad arpeggio sections. I think it gives it a little bit of a more fairy tale-ish whimsical vibe. We have the brass horn section that is, instead of accentuating the downbeats, it's accentuating the other triplets. If I put back the Easter Island downbeat, and along with it also in the downbeats, we have this like lower orchestral just in octaves doing like the lower roots of the chords. It just helps us feel this waltzy vibe that we added to this riff. And since I wanted to do that whole like Howl's Moving Castle, super mega fairy tale-ish, magic-y, dreamish, super waltzy vibe, I have some short staccato strings doing again the root of each chord, but then doing like these more crazy runs. They pretty much always follow this pattern of like spaced out notes and then some faster parts. More spaced out notes, faster parts. I'm doing something similar with the short woodwinds over here. We're kind of doing the opposite pattern though. We're actually starting with the more faster runs and then doing the more spaced out notes, again with different variations in the rhythm. These ones actually sound kind of like this. sounds interesting to hear both of them at the same time, because if you think about it, they end up blending and meshing together nicely because now they complement each other instead of just harmonizing with each other in the same tempos. Here's both of them at the same time. A bit chaotic for some of you, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie, it is a bit chaotic, but if we put it with something a bit more stable, with the orchestral bass going on and the percussion parts, it ends up sounding way richer. Yeah, you get the vibe there with the more rhythmical section. Like I told you before, I added these strings. I then repeated it on the woodwinds, just an octave higher. Kind of harmonize with each other a little bit. And then, as a little bit of a counter melody, that's where I added the more like melody, heroic brass section along with the synths, just like last time. Again, the synths I think just add a little bit of an interesting texture. And if I put it along with just the regular melody played by the strings and the woodwinds, you can actually see that while the blue and yellow, aka the synths and the horns are happening, they actually only play in between the real melody, which you can see here in red and purple, to again give you that feeling of call and response, main melody and counter melody. And that's pretty much everything that I added here, not including the more pad-like string section, which sounds something like this. Along with it, there are again some woodwinds. And they blend pretty well together. I think it's good enough to give you an update. Now, some of you with wide eyes might be looking at the screen and be like, he only showed like a portion of his arrangement. What about the super chromatic part? What about like some of the other B sections? And you're right, because in some ways, I kind of want to leave you guys hanging. And I kind of want you guys to listen to the whole song whenever we get to that section and still be somewhat surprised with what I ended up doing. Like if I just show you every single thing that I did, then where's the surprise when you listen to the whole version? Like I mentioned before, I'm pretty much done for today. I'll do the rest tomorrow and I'll give you guys some updates. I'm going to go and try and rest because tomorrow I still have a bunch of things to do besides this whole project, and I gotta practice it and make sure it's right so I can then do the whole thing on Saturday and not make a fool out of myself. Now, one thing that I was a bit conflicted by when it came to this whole arrangement, I mentioned to you before about Carlos Paredes having a very signature time and how it was very much free flow, but free flow in a way that only Carlos could really understand. And I thought of doing that myself. I thought of implementing that into my own arrangement, and I thought it would be faithful to the vibe of Carlos. But since we're doing this in 10 days and I can't really hire these players to go play with me and record them in the day, I kind of have to be locked in into a time grid and able to program everything and give people that experience of listening in orchestra along with my version of Verdes, which already happened in other circumstances. Like there are orchestral versions of Verdes that have been made throughout the years. There have been plenty of people doing their own versions and covers, as we've established before. And so while I think it would be a more accurate experience and a more faithful experience to the Carlos Paredes experience, I guess, I don't even know how many times I said the word experience then, since it is a little bit of a technical difficulty that we'd have in order to just have me playing it free flow. Like, of course, I can then like reprogram a whole orchestration afterwards and having it lock in with whatever tempo I'm feeling. That doesn't really work live. And yeah, I'm only playing it live for one group of people. once. But even then, I kind of want people to experience to what I was able to do in 10 days. Not like serve them something and then for you guys or for like a release, do something different. Like maybe one day I can do a different version, but for right now, I think I'll probably just have to like stick to a tempo and lock in. And while I guess, yeah, maybe it's not faithful to the Carlos Paredes experience, in some ways, it is a little bit of a subversion of expectations. Like with all due respect, most covers are going to try to go for that, right? Maybe this way I'm trying to do something different and hopefully I can still capture the essence of that song in there. Like yeah, in some ways it is a very modern version, anything but fado, no Portuguese guitar on it, and well, I'm sure that if I wasn't locked into just having 10 days, I could probably do something different that maybe I would be more or less proud of than what I'm doing right now. I still feel like what I'm doing is cool and is worth the time. And while I'm definitely not sure if Carlos Paredes the man would actually appreciate me doing a version of his song than doing it like this, in this style, with all these sorts of characteristics in it, on one hand, I kinda don't care about it. I'm just doing it because I feel like it's cool and it's in my intention to be respectful to the original composer. So if I have that in mind and I try my best and then the composer didn't enjoy it, then it's his problem, right? But I kinda wish that if Carlos Paredes was able to listen to it, that he would at least approve of it. Like maybe he wouldn't be like the hugest fan of it, but he would be like, yeah, okay, sure, whatever. At least it's not completely awful. Or even if it is, at least maybe he wouldn't shame me for it. So yeah, if you stayed this far, I hope to see you tomorrow and have some interesting things to share. I've done some rough mixing. It really doesn't sound good at all. But I also need to figure out some technical stuff. Like, for instance, there's not going to be any PAs. I want them to be able to have, like, a good listening experience. I'm not going to be using it because it sucks ass. It sounds really, really bad. Kind of sounds like an airplane engine is going to go off. How am I going to hear the backing track for the rest of the arrangement? I'm going to be honest, I don't really trust this janky setup too much. I have a problem going on. Super chaotic and stressful. Gonna have to figure out another solution.
Hello there. So I don't know if you know, but this is part of a documentary I made. Now, you can hypothetically just wait a couple of days until a new shorter video where it's all segmented down will come out, or you can just go into my YouTube channel and watch the full documentary, which was honestly how I envisioned this content to go, but not everyone's going to go watch a long documentary, so yeah, either go watch the documentary or just wait a couple of days. Don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and leave a like, comment, subscribe, follow, and stay tuned for more if you want to indeed stay tuned for more.